Connection between people, place, and learning is an essential part of education. The world around us is changing at an alarming rate with the shift to a faster-paced, more technology-driven existence. Many have become disconnected from the world and the people around them. Today's children are likely the most disconnected in history. Many experience an artificial nature instead of a real one. These children have lost their connection to place, the environment, and in many cases, themselves. By connecting with others via technology, children are becoming increasingly socially isolated. Our children are suffering huge consequences from this shift, including social, emotional, mental, and physical health challenges. In his book, Last Child in the Woods, Richard Louv suggests that today's children are suffering from nature deficit disorder. Although this is not a real clinical diagnosis, I believe it is a real thing. Many students are scared and are anxious of various elements of being outdoors. Teachers and schools are working to support students as they navigate these challenges, but unlike the relatively quick shift to a faster technological-based existence, our school systems have not evolved as quickly. The majority of our school structures are based on a 200-year-old model. Teachers and schools today are working to prepare students for jobs and technology that may not yet exist. The traditional school model places emphasis on reading, writing, and arithmetic. Although each is important, approaching education with such a narrowly focused, in-the-box approach, students are often missing out on other content areas which contain essential knowledge for navigating the ever-changing world. The children of 200 years ago were not facing the challenges today's children are. It is time that we remove the box of the traditional system and change the way we do things. By teaching in a way that illustrates the interconnectedness of our world from a variety of perspectives, students gain understanding, appreciation, and knowledge base they can utilize throughout their lives. They also gain a greater connection to the people and world around them, to themselves, and become informed citizens and stewards of the world. We need to take steps to reset the school system by increasing connection. I believe that outdoor experiential education is a small step that would have enormous positive impacts, many of which would be immediate. The practice of taking learning outdoors provides students with authentic, hands-on, real-world experiences to learn about, connect with, and navigate the world. It encourages collaboration, provides physical and mental health benefits for students and teachers, increases student motivation, engagement, problem solving, curiosity, and critical thinking. It is the bridge that can help the educational landscape move from the structures of the past to the innovative and evolving future. For those of you wondering what the cost of this latest trend will add to already strained school budgets, let me ease your mind. Shifting to this mindset can add little to no additional cost. Experiential outdoor learning is not about materials. It's about taking the learning that is already happening and shifting it in a way to connect with the natural world. It's about best practices and providing opportunities for students to engage in learning that is authentic and real world, integrating learning, showing connections, which will in turn help prepare them for the world after school. The world does not exist in compartmentalized spaces, and neither should education. Could additional funding be allocated to support this work? Absolutely. If you have funding that's available and needing to be spent, let me know. I'll happily help you spend. In the first 5 years of my experiential classroom, my classroom added only the additional cost of transportation for field experiences. Maine has endless free or low-cost opportunities for learning to be taken outside. Simply moving outside your school building can have measurable positive impacts. One study found that greenery in a child's everyday environment, even views of green through a window, specifically reduces attention deficit symptoms. While outdoor activities in general help, settings with trees and grass are most beneficial. Several years ago, the students in my crew expressed an interest and desire to create a sensory pollinator garden in our outdoor classroom, a connection to and extension of our space. Embracing student passion and voice, I applied for and received a grant. Students researched native pollinators and the plants that attract them through informational texts and learning how to navigate technology to find reliable sources. A connection between their experience and a desire to build a greater understanding. They learned about pollination, about the role of bees and other insects, bats, and wind in the process, a connection between elements of the natural world. Students who had been scared of bees and interacting with them outdoors became passionate advocates in creating spaces for them, a connection between human and nature and the need for responsibility and stewardship. In working to design the physical space, students wanted to ensure it was accessible for all members of our school, a connection to the larger community. We learned about height and spacing requirements with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Students used measurement skills to ensure the raised garden beds were placed to allow accessible space for all. And they calculated how much soil was needed to fill the beds using their knowledge of area. Many students were able to problem solve how to find the total amount of soil by applying their mathematical knowledge to determine how to find the volume of the garden beds. When I then introduced the mathematical term and formula for volume, students understood the concept in an authentic way, a real-world connection between math and life. On the day we planned to fill the garden beds with soil, it was scheduled to rain. We discussed rescheduling, and students enthusiastically wanted to move forward. As the light rain began, so did increased teamwork, refinement of technique, changes in roles to increase efficiency. This problem solving, all student-led, allowed us to successfully fill the raised beds. Students who sometimes struggled to find their voices while learning inside became leaders guiding the work. However, in the process of doing so, we got a little messy. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an understatement. We were a mess. However, it was one of the happiest moments of our year. Students were proud of the work they had done, drawn together by a common goal, celebrating the completion of this step in the process. They spread the dirt on their faces, deeming themselves Blundified. Little did I know at the time that being Blundified would become a rite of passage and a true mark of becoming crew. This connection, that of our crew, is arguably one of the most important connections, that of belonging. In reflecting upon teaching experientially, it is the connections between people, place, and learning that have pushed me to be a better, more intentional educator. Together, as a community, we need to connect to support, foster, and extend experiential outdoor learning in schools. Administrators, encourage and foster learning outdoors as part of your school and district's culture. Businesses help support experiential learning by sharing your expertise, donating materials and time, helping to create a future workforce containing the skills needed to be successful in your industries. Legislators create legislation that encourages and supports outdoor experiential learning, help modernize the structure of schools to get learning outside of the box. We need to celebrate and encourage learning that demonstrates the interconnectedness of the world and of us all. The impacts this shift will have will be a positive step in engaging students. Do I finish or no?
You can finish.
Okay, sorry. And combating nature deficit disorder. It is my hope that I will be able to continue to support others in embracing and implementing experiential outdoor education. After all, not all classrooms have four walls.